On the governor's desk, a bill that could save you time at the auto shop, while some say it comes at the expense of safety. New info on the effects of vaping as millions of middle and high schoolers say they use e-cigarettes.
The coolest day in 2 weeks thanks to showers and thunderstorms in the area. Your first warning forecast is coming up.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Rush. A new bill could soon save you a trip to the auto shop. Governor Greg Abbott is set to sign legislation removing the requirement for annual vehicle inspections. Supporters say it will save you time, but some worry it could come at the cost of safety. Ryan Chandler breaks it down.
These lines could soon get shorter.
Vehicle inspections are costly, time-consuming, and provide little benefit.
Come 2025, most drivers can skip that inspection. The state leaving vehicle safety up to you.
It saves hardworking Texans tens of millions of hours of their time not taken away anymore.
The exemption doesn't apply to commercial vehicles, and it won't save you money. In place of an inspection, drivers will still pay that $7.50 fee to pay for the Texas Mobility Fund. Drivers of new cars that are not currently registered will pay $16.75. Some are worried the saved time could cost safety and jobs.
The first line of defense for the safety of our fellow Texans is going to be actually a safety inspection.
Cars with bald tires and bad brakes are not just as safe as cars on the road.
This will make the roads more dangerous. I'm sure you guys have thought about that. I could also talk about the small businesses that will be put out of business, and many people will have to be fired and lose their job.
But if you live in some of the state's biggest counties, you'll still need to show up for an annual emissions test. Counties like Harris, Travis, Dallas, and Tarrant still require those. Ryan Chandler, KXAN News.
The bill is waiting on Governor Abbott's signature. Texas is one of only 13 states that still mandates annual vehicle inspections. Most states did away with the requirement after the federal mandate ended in 1976. Meanwhile, efforts to lower your property taxes are in a holding pattern right now, with the House and Senate still at odds over how to do it. In a special session the governor called right after the regular session ended last week, House lawmakers passed their property tax plan, which would direct the state to spend $12 billion to buy down school district property tax rates and foot the bill for taxpayers. Afterwards, the House adjourned their special session after just one day. The Senate passed its property tax plan that includes raising the homestead exemption, the amount of a home's value that is exempt from property taxes. But since the House adjourned, House members cannot come back in this special session, meaning that the Senate can only pass the House's version or pass nothing. The Senate returns Tuesday evening.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, what a treat here in June, the beginning of meteorological summer, to get kind of a cool and cloudy afternoon like this. A few boaters, jet skiers out on the lakes, but it's only 79 on Lake Marble Falls. The Highland Furniture River City Grill Cam always on our website under overcast skies today. 15 degree drop in temperatures compared to this time yesterday. And yesterday we had some good storms rolling through, didn't we? Now, fortunately today for your afternoon and evening plans, we don't have a ton on the radar right now. Zooming into Austin, we got a couple showers out near Fredericksburg, a few sprinkles moving through Austin in the past hour that have dissipated for the time being. Out near Fayette County, we've had a few strong storms that are generally weakening and starting to move east of LaGrange and Fayetteville. Fortunately for us, most of the really bad weather today has focused just to our south and west. A large area of rain dropping up to 6-inch totals this evening west of San Antonio. A flash flood warning continues for places north of Hondo through about 6:30, and that may be extended. Severe storms, we can't rule a couple strong storms out in this dark green area, including Austin this evening. Coming up in your forecast, I'll show you how long the wet weather lasts, hotter temperatures on the horizon, and new tonight when the first triple-digit heat of the year may arrive.
All right, David, thank you. We'll see you in a bit. New data obtained by KXAN investigators shows that SNAP food benefit applications are being processed much faster than last year, but there is still a backlog. The state agency in charge of SNAP says as of late May, more than 79,000 applications are waiting to be processed. That's a fraction of what it was last year. The delays in applications and recent federal government cuts to the amount families receive is now being felt by food pantries. Several pantries tell us they're trying to keep up with the growing need, especially as we hit summer. Hill Country Community Ministries in Leander has seen a 49% increase in new families just in May.
Most of the time, the families that finally come see us have been without food in their pantry for a couple of days. Or they've already started skipping meals. We don't want people to do that. Come see us. That's what we're here for.
The state tells KXAN there have been significant efforts to expand hiring and improve retention. And in April, the 211 system, which is a social service hotline, was upgraded to include a virtual agent that provides voice response for confirmation of documents, benefit, and appointment status. The federal grand jury in the Donald Trump classified documents case is expected to meet again this week. It's part of the Justice Department's investigation into the former president's handling of classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago. Prosecutors working for special counsel Jack Smith have been presenting the grand jury with evidence and witness testimony for months. It's unclear whether prosecutors are preparing to seek an indictment at this point, and the Justice Department has not commented on the status of the investigation. Trump maintains he has broken no laws and that the investigation is politically motivated. Although smoking is at an all-time low in the U.S., it is in its place vaping, and new data shows just how harmful it can be. Erica Edwards has details.
American ashtrays emptier than ever. Recent data from the CDC showing adults who smoked dropped to 11% in 2022, down from 12.5% in 2020, and way down from the more than 40% of Americans who smoked in the 1960s. But now a new danger facing the American public, vaping.
I feel like a lot better now that I'm not vaping, like noticeably better, like my kind of day-to-day life. Like I used to have like phlegm in my throat and constantly getting sick.
Cade Beauparlant vaped for the first time on a sleepover with his friends in the 8th grade.
And when it first came out, everyone was saying it was like a healthy alternative to smoking, which I didn't smoke cigarettes ever, but I don't know, I guess I kind of interpreted it wrong and saw it as like not really being damaging.
But just a few years into vaping, he was diagnosed with a minor lung disease, putting his hockey school career in danger.
When I got the lung disease, it was very noticeable, like being on the ice and getting off and constantly like gasping for breath.
Cade managed to quit vaping, but recent CDC data shows e-cigarette use rose to nearly 6% of Americans in 2022, and more than 2.5 million middle and high schoolers reported e-cigarette use. And all that vaping is having serious consequences.
We're seeing new and emerging evidence that there can be kind of longer-term lung damage. The other health problem that we're seeing are damages to their brain, or at least their memory and cognition. The other third area that we're exploring under evidence is just the effect on what I'll call mood disorders. We know that also our young adults and teens are suffering from an incredible amount of anxiety and depression, and that teens who use e-cigarettes or vaping are more likely to have these symptoms be more dramatic.
The medical community urging parents not to turn a blind eye to vaping.
Nicotine, which is that kind of active substance in tobacco, is just as addictive as heroin and cocaine. That's sobering information for a lot of people, including parents, who might dismiss their child's use or their young adult's use as being better than traditional cigarettes.
Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Still to come, farmers market fans rejoice. We'll show you the goodies that you can find at a brand new Central Texas market. Plus, expanding mental health resources for LGBTQ youth, why some say more funding is badly needed. If you're a fan of visiting Central Texas farmers markets, there's a new one on the circuit. The Bee Cave Farmers Market launched today at the Hill Country Galleria. It offers 40 vendors featuring local produce, food, and artisanal goods. It will also have weekly live music performances featuring everything from jazz and country to rock and roll. The Bee Cave Farmers Market will be open every Sunday from 11 to 2.
Well, high temperatures yesterday were in the 90s, but today a far cry from what is typical here in early June. We only made it to 83. That's about 10 degrees cooler than normal for early June in Austin. Rainfall, no measurable rain yet today in Austin, and you can see we're running slightly behind the first couple of days of the month. Your first warning forecast looking toward hotter weather coming up.
As Pride Month gets underway, the federal government is giving a big boost to mental health for young people in the LGBTQ+ community. The Secretary of Health and Human Services, Xavier Becerra, announced that funding. Makalo Medina has details.
Becerra announced the funding, millions of dollars worth, specifically to give more mental health access to LGBTQ+ youth. He made the announcement today at Renaissance High School here in Long Beach after having a roundtable discussion with LGBTQ+ teens. They say the funding is badly needed, considering these numbers from the Trevor Project showing 70% of LGBTQ+ youth in California report experiencing discrimination based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. And these numbers, 54% of trans or non-binary teens seriously considering suicide.
It's distressing when you hear that so many of our youth are on the verge of saying there's no other recourse but to commit suicide.
I have definitely been at a point in my life where I have contemplated suicide. I do think that trans youth have been targeted as of late.
Some of these teens say the biggest problems with discrimination comes from inside their own home.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, let me take you outside here at 5:15 on your Sunday evening. Some of the first peaks of sun that we've seen all day in the Austin area, breaking through west of downtown. It's 80 degrees, much cooler than normal for this time of the year. And you can see where it's been raining and where it hasn't. Some cooler air down in Blanco, 67. That is amazing. Lower 80s in some areas east of Austin, where we've had drier weather today. You can tell the radar is not very active this evening. We do not expect any big severe storms to roll through Austin like we had nearly 24 hours ago. Zooming into the hill country, though, we do have a couple heavy thunderstorms with dangerous lightning southeast of Fredericksburg. A couple more downpours on the radar west of Mason. Fortunately, though, most of the bad stuff has focused south of our area. West of San Antonio, we've got a flash flood warning just north of the highway there and northeast of Uvalde. We have some radar estimates of 3 to 5 inches of rain there this afternoon. Flash flooding certainly a dangerous issue there, but not so much here tonight. Rain totals back here at home over the weekend, pretty good. 1 to 2 inches of rain at all of the communities listed. 1.32 inches, most of that last night in East Austin. 2¼ inches in Smithville, out east of town. You can find your totals, see how well you did on KXAN.com under rainfall totals. You can see some disturbed weather with showers and thunderstorms popping up at will across the state past few hours. This is all part of the same weather pattern that we had about a week and a half ago. A little ridge of high pressure building tonight and tomorrow west of us. That puts us in this unpredictable northwest flow aloft. This tends to bring down little disturbances, which can cause afternoon and evening rain. The rain coverage tomorrow, not quite as numerous as what we've had at times this weekend, but we do expect a good smattering of late day showers and thunderstorms both Monday and Tuesday. Rain chances, even though they're never eliminated late this week into next weekend, they do get lower. And with that, you bet, temperatures also get hotter. Let me show you what to expect the next 24 hours. Just a few isolated showers and storms through the next couple of hours, and only a 20% chance of rain continuing late tonight into the overnight. It is possible we see a little bit of rain popping up overnight, but most of us stay dry. Tomorrow, a mainly dry start, but then by the afternoon and evening, you guessed it, a good coverage of some scattered showers and storms. Some of these could produce heavy rainfall and even lead to small hail, some minor flash flooding. These, as we've seen recently, will diminish after sundown each night. The rainfall totals over the next 7 days combined, another ½ to 1 inch of rain very possible where you live. And yes, some isolated higher totals will be expected. Out in the tropics, remember a couple of days ago we were talking about the first storm of the season, Tropical Storm Arlene. Well, can you find it? I can't. Arlene was very short-lived and no longer exists in the Gulf. Tonight's forecast, 65 degrees with just a 20% chance of an isolated thunderstorm. Light northwest winds feel pretty nice. Winds stay with a northerly direction tomorrow, keeping temperatures cooler than normal. A few scattered storms expected. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer, of course, than we've seen today. Rain chances 50% tomorrow and on Tuesday. Then they go down the rest of the week into next weekend. Notice the high temperatures. Some of the warmest weather we've seen so far this year, with lower and even middle 90s late this week into the weekend. And if you think that's warm, how about this? 8 to 14-day outlooks now showing warmer than normal mid-June weather from June 12th through the 18th. Some of our computer models are suggesting Austin could see the first triple digits of the season 2 weeks out from now.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Well, one more win for Texas baseball, and the Horns are on to the Super Regionals. Tough task in front of them, beating Miami, albeit 2 chances to do it. They just got underway, and believe it or not, no weather delay in this one for the first time this weekend for Texas. They get started on time just after 5 p.m. here in Central Texas. No score. Tanner Witt starting this 3rd game for the Horns. Looked pretty good in the first. Did let up a deep fly ball, but no score. And Dylan Campbell, again, believe it or not, did not record a hit his first at-bat. But early, again, if Texas wins, they play in the Super Regionals. If they lose, they play against Miami again tomorrow. Let's go to the big leagues. Rangers on the verge of sweeping the Mariners, and they got the baby blues on. You know there's going to be some good things happening. Jonah Heim, he's been having an outstanding season, as has really that entire offense. Plates a couple. Then Corey Seager, who has been red hot. He has 4 straight multi-hit games, dead center. That's good advertising for Globe Life. Name the park, name where he hits the home run right over. Later on, it is Heim again. That is well struck. If it's foul, well, he's going to have to swing again. If it's fair, it's good news for the home team. And it is a 3-run home run. Rangers are rolling right now on offense especially. They sweep Seattle, a playoff team last year, 12-3. Let's head over to Houston. Astros going for a sweep themselves of the Angels. Yainer Diaz, this is sure a good way to start. Tomahawk chops this one into the Crawford boxes to get the scoring started in the bottom of the 5th with that solo jack. Top 6, though, it's always important to put up the 0 when you're pitching after your team scores for the first time. Not able to do it. Luis Rengifo, a home run of his own, and we're even at 1. Then Shohei Ohtani, hey, we can show him ground out, and it's still a highlight. He's such a big name, but when he does this, the go-ahead RBI double, we're definitely going to show it. Puts the Angels in front 2-1. That would be the final score, and they avoid the sweep. Good series for the Astros, not able to close it out today. Now the Rangers are up 3 games in the division in the AL West on the Astros. Rangers next host the Cardinals. Astros up north to Canada to face the Blue Jays. Still to come, it was a good night for one team, not a good night for Austin FC. What led to the mixed reactions? What went wrong from Q2? Reactions from the Verde and Black coming up next. All right, welcome back. Winning 3 of 4 MLS matches coming into Saturday. The mojo for Austin FC seemed to be good, especially getting healthier and playing a team near the bottom of the table. But in reality, what does mojo have to do with anything? A weather delay for about 2 hours after Real Salt Lake was already up 1-0. Yeah, a lot of time off. Second goal in the 81st minute for the visitors. Then Austin FC in extra time, finally able to score, but probably too little too late as Julio Cascante gets this one to go. But then last chance for them, another Emiliano Rigoni corner, and Ethan Finley, who had a tough one, nearly heads that one in behind himself into net, but a good save by the Real Salt Lake keeper, and that was effectively all she wrote. So a loss at home and a bit of an interesting night. Weather and defense contributing to 0 points for Austin FC, and the hosts not thrilled with their performance.
Preventable goals from us, I think, is something that I see there, and it's something we got to clean up. Obviously, we know we've had some adjustments along the back line and certainly defending, but we can be better at both ends. I think we missed some good opportunities tonight in front of goal as well, but goals will ultimately decide the game. We could have been better, but it's a disappointing result.
We're giving away easy goals. I'd rather give away goals that are breaking us down and actually playing soccer. Those goals are too easy, and those are mistakes that shouldn't happen but can be fixed.
So much less soccer in the month of June for Austin FC. They next go to a place that you have visited, not worked at, in Kansas City, right? I got that information correctly?
Yes. He asked me like 10 questions just to be able to say that little line right there. But that is true. Important. I have visited Kansas City, I think a couple of times, actually.
And Austin FC will visit there next week for what they hope is 3 points, I'm sure.
That is fascinating. All right. Thank you, sir. We'll be back with a final look at your forecast. David's keeping an eye on the radar this evening.
Just a couple thunderstorms out there, mainly in the hill country right now. We're watching these mainly near Stonewall, which is between Fredericksburg and Blanco. No rain immediately threatening the Austin area. Overall, the rain becomes a little bit less numerous through the evening.
All right. Thanks, David. And thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great evening. We hope to see you right back here at 10 o'clock.